Assalamu alaikum Nazareen. You know how in school some teachers have that rule where you shouldn't speak unless you're spoken to? Well, it feels like I took that concept as a kid and just ran with it because the degree of awkwardness I display in social settings, it really should be studied. Like, I'm fully aware of how inconsequential a simple conversation with someone should be. But for some reason, my brain just shuts off when it's time to do a social. When it comes to starting conversations, my brain is like a car that runs smoothly but has a bad ignition. Because it's not like I'm antisocial. I love small talk and I've gotten quite good at it, but I have no idea how to approach someone I want to talk to. It's gotten to the point where I wouldn't approach anyone in school or on campus unless I'm spoken to first, like a Pokemon NPC or a Minecraft villager. I'd walk by and ignore people whom I know and enjoy talking to. In group settings, unless it's a group that I am an established part of, I will simply fade into the background unless someone speaks to me first. I suspect that this has to do with me having 3 siblings who are all way older than me. Like, seriously, even the second youngest is still 8 years older. And as a kid, I never really had anything meaningful to add to their conversations because, I was a kid. So I just kind of did my own thing off to the side. But this would become an issue for me as I tried to make friends and take part in certain friend groups, especially back in high school. Bro, I was such a loser! Like, this one time I wanted to join this one friend group in high school, especially because a girl I had a little crush on was part of this group. My method for this? Stand off to the side and say nothing, hoping that they include me in the conversation. This went on for multiple days. It also didn't help that another girl in that group happened to be spreading rumors that I was going around stalking people in my school, but that's a video for another time. Like, man, I'm not Joe Goldberg. I'm just awkward, man. Allow it. Speaking of Joe, another NPC trait I have is the bad habit of talking to myself. As the youngest child who was watching cartoons while all my siblings hung out, my social skills, surprisingly, were not the best as a kid. Not only would I mutter random shit under my breath or in my head, but I'd smile and laugh from the things I'd think about too. To this day, my family makes fun of me for this. Like, my mom sees me crack a smile for no reason and she gets mad. "Kyun has rahe ho? Kis ladki ke bare mein soch rahe ho, huh?" And I'd be like, "Huh? Girl, what kind of weirdo do you think I am?" I was just having a conversation in my head with myself, laughing at a joke I thought of. I don't think I'm as bad at socializing with people outside of group settings though. Like I said, one-on-one small talk, light work. Even raising my hand and talking in class wasn't a big deal. But the moment someone has more agency over an interaction, I just sort of go non-verbal and let them do the talking. And if it's the other way around where the other person is more reserved, I never know how to gauge the energy I should show them, especially when I'm just meeting them for the first time. However, one thing I will say that my NPC tendencies make me a pro at is engaging with the kinds of NPCs who don't know when to shut up.
Hey man, people are so sensitive these days, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah,
like,
for sure.
You can't even say you hate
Yeah.
black people anymore
No
without
way.
getting cancelled.
Damn,
They're pushing all
that's
their
crazy.
woke politics on kids in
Wow.
school, turning them into
Yeah.
snowflakes, you know what I'm saying?
No, yeah,
I
for
swear,
sure.
these people wouldn't
Yeah,
last
no
an
way.
hour in a COD lobby,
crazy.
you know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
damn,
know
no
what I'm
way.
saying? Hey, you know what I'm
Oh.
saying?
Like, yes, you look stupid as hell, but no, I'm not gonna correct you on it. In true NPC fashion, I'll just stare at you like this and let you keep rambling. The funniest part is, when I talk to people like this, I don't even smile or show any body language that suggests I'm engaged in the conversation. And they just keep going. It's like they just wake up and decide they're gonna yap to the nearest person who will even pretend to listen. This other time in like grade 9, I was a part of my high school's choir, and there was this kid who was really into Eminem and Logic and older rap in general. Which on its own is whatever, everyone has their preferences. But for now we'll call this kid Stan. At one point, I mentioned to Stan that I used to listen to Eminem too. And then, for God knows how long, he was just yapping away about how Eminem got him into music and how his discography changed his life. That is the exact word he used, by the way. Like, okay, listen. I had my own Eminem phase too. I get it. I performed Rap God for my grade 7 talent show. But this kid made me never want to hear a song from him again. Like, I had not known Stan for 30 minutes, and he was already standing up and rapping to an instrumental of Homicide by Logic, completely unprompted. I did not ask for a live performance in the middle of this empty classroom, dog. Holy shit! He was holding his hand up to his mouth like a microphone and just stuttering his way through the song. I was trying so hard to be nice. I didn't say anything, but I could physically feel my smile breaking. Keep in mind, choir ended like 10 minutes ago. He's been yapping and rapping halfway into lunch, and then finally, a teacher came in and told us to leave the room, at which point I booked it out of there and told all my friends at the lunch table the story you're all hearing now. God, bless that kid's heart. I hope he's doing okay. And that he got a better music taste. I will admit though, I am kinda jealous looking back of how he was able to talk so freely with a guy he'd never met before. I spoke to a buddy of mine about that once, who was admittedly really good at talking to people off the rip, and he brought up a great point about socialization that I wanted to share. There's a very real chance that when you go up to someone and talk to them, they just won't want to talk, or you just won't click. But that's not an insult on you, because if they aren't showing you any energy, then they're equally at fault for any awkwardness that occurs. And when you realize this, it becomes a lot easier to get over any social anxiety or fear of rejection you might have. Unless, of course, you really are just being completely awkward and silent around them despite them wanting to talk, in which case it might be time to fix up. But you can think of a good, meaningful conversation with someone as a form of teamwork, like a joint game of keep up. You both have to work together to keep the ball from hitting the ground. The same way, you both have to talk in order to keep a conversation going. Ask questions, find common ground, talk about school or work or something. However, you should also keep in mind that both people are equally important to keep the ball up, and it's not on you if the other person just has sucky coordination. What I'm getting at is that it takes two people to have a conversation. Crazy, I know. Just make sure that the other person you're talking to is returning the energy and you're good. And if not, who cares? It doesn't matter if the singular, random, unspecial person doesn't like you. Go find someone who does. They're the special ones that you should aim to please. You will find, though, that the average person will tend to find you more personable if you take the time to expand your horizons a little outside of just playing video games and watching Netflix. Just do it enough so that you have something to talk about with people who might not share your quirks, you know? Learn how to talk to people, get some hobbies that you can have a normal conversation about, and above all, learn to read the goddamn room!